Peptides are powerful and often misunderstood.
And we're here to change that, one conversation at a time.
I'm Dr. Kylie Burton.
And I'm Jessica Bricky.
This is Pep Talk, Peptides Unpacked. If you've ever been in the scrapbook industry, you're going to recognize this name. Her name's Heidi Swapp, and she's our guest today. Jess, tell us a little bit about your two history together in the scrapbooking space.
It's so funny. I was just telling Heidi and you the story that I had a baby little scrapbook company 20 some odd years ago with my big old pregnant belly hawking, scrapbook store to scrapbook store, just saying, this is what I've got. And it was great. And we had a really great little thing. We showed up, I don't know, 9 months later to the big show out in Las Vegas. And when I say big, Kylie, this show was
It's in
enormous. Like,
Vegas for one. That's what we
it
need
was
to
in
know.
Vegas for one, but at the convention center there, and I don't even know how many square feet, but
I
like
mean, there were four, that was back when there were like four humongous rooms
huge.
dedicated to,
Yes.
yeah.
It would, people would go for days because you couldn't get through and look at everything because there was so much to look at. Um, Anyway, so Heidi was obviously in that space for a long time. And so for me at that time, it was like, that's what we wanted to aspire to. That's what we wanted to grow. And we would see from a distance and we would say, oh, swap. So to be here, when I found out that we were going to get to do this
And
today, I
full
was
circle.
so excited. Yes, it is full circle. So thanks for
So
joining
cool.
us.
Well, thank you for giving me a little bit of credit because normally in this space, I don't have that much credit.
Oh, so one of my girlfriends, I told her the other day, she used to manage a fairly decent sized scrapbook store, again, 20 years ago. And she worked for me for a hot second and she did some of the consumer shows. And I told her because she's literally like one of the only people that would get it. I said, guess who's coming on our podcast? And she couldn't believe it either. So you still have that credit all over the
Thank
place.
you. Thank you. Well, and it's still something that I do. In fact, it's still the mainstay of my business. It's still how I support my family. And it's still like a deep passion of mine to document and to foster creativity. And interestingly enough, I mean, you said it was 21 years ago. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I started in the industry 25 years ago. And I've been doing it ever since in every evolution and iteration, and it's changed a million times. And so here I have this platform of women around the world that are in my same age category. So I just turned 54, and most of these women, I mean, it's a variety of people who are a little bit younger, a little bit older than me, who have raised their children, who have given them their whole selves to their families for years and years and years, and are getting to this spot, 50 something, 60-ish, and going, I feel like crap. And
Hmm.
all those things that I used to love to do and document, like all the travel and the hobbies and the friend groups and getting to, all these things that's starting to just, I don't do that anymore. I don't feel good enough or you don't have the energy or whatever. And so back then it was like these consumer shows and you're selling into mom and pop scrapbook stores. Then it turned into Target and Michael's and Hobby Lobby and even Costco. And we're working to get our products into these big retailers. Magazines became blogs, became Instagram, and this, 25 years of insane changes, but the women have stayed the same. My fans and followers and friends have stayed the same. And as you listen to them and you hear from them, now it's grandbabies, now it's different areas of life, more time. And I was feeling the same thing that like I didn't feel the same anymore. Um, I watched my mom decline massively. She was diagnosed with a disease called PPA or primary progressive aphasia, which most people know because Bruce Willis has it.
Okay.
Ah,
So
Yes.
um, it's a brain disease. And most of the women my age are dealing with aging parents, and adult children, and you're just kind of,
The sandwich age. I'm
yeah,
the
That's
same
so
age. I'm
much age.
54 also. It's the sandwich age. And, my
yeah,
parents are aging. My mother had a stroke. My father has cancer. So we're dealing with all that. And then my kids who are 27, 24, and 21, they're out of the house ish, heavy on the ish.
we're, we're, we're cheering for
We,
them.
we keep trying. Um, it is a very difficult season in life, and yet I feel like this group of women that are recognizing we don't want to age maybe like our parents have. We want to, as Kylie knows, I say all the time, we want to live longer, better. We want to be stronger. And my journey personally with peptides, I know we'll get to your story in 1 second and how you got here, was because I dove into the education to be certified to help my clients that were not being treated well, in my opinion, and treating with especially the GLPs irresponsibly. I needed to understand it in order to help them. But in that research, realized, oh my gosh, this is going to help my brain, and I will do anything to help my brain, which is where my journey began. I started microdosing GLPs because I wanted to lower my risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. That's where it began. And now I am all in. I am a peptide girl. It is in every aspect of what I do in my office when I'm treating people, working with people. Obviously, Kylie and I have this podcast now, but at the end of the day, I want my body strong, but that's great. That's easy enough to do, but my brain has to stay strong. And that is what I'm chasing. I am chasing that constant brain protection. So you're recognizing all this being in yours, what brought you, so where,
100%. I mean, really, I will say, so I guess you know this journey that I've been on, and that means that as a mom, 5 kids, and I've been the primary breadwinner in my family, and a creative. I'm a creative, and when we say
You're
that,
a
it means
creative genius. Just say it.
that I have extreme ADHD, and in order for me to function, I did my momming during the day and then my work at night. And so I completely sacrificed my sleep.
yeah,
Um, and so in order to do that, you have to fuel with caffeine and sugar. That was the only thing that I like that was,
sure.
you know. And because I did move really quickly and I was very active, but I was not healthy. And I kind of knew that. I did think at that time that not sleeping was a superpower. Like I like really was like, I need 4 hours of sleep. And I'll
It's a
tell you,
brag. It was a brag,
it
right?
was a
Like it was
brag,
like, yeah,
100%.
yeah,
And also probably my brag was I haven't eaten all day.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Guilty
also
as charged.
I don't even need to eat. I'm not superhuman, and I really thought I was awesome. And yeah, I mean, things were not great. And I was probably pretty grouchy, and everybody just accepted that. Like I mean, I was good. Like if I could hit my deadlines, and the next day I was happy as can be. Here's what happened is so I told you my mom got this um disease, and I watched my mom be very, very cognizant of her health at that stage of the game. So her mom also very cognizant of her health. But the difference is and you guys would agree with me back then for my mom, my grandma, in my young age, my mom's momming, my grandma was super worried about her cholesterol.
Yeah.
And she was put on statins. And my grandma was she was horrified that she had to be on medication. She was horrified that she had this horrible high cholesterol. And so it was like cut out eggs, cut out red meat, that story, no fat.
Yeah.
Right.
And so my mom, like what I remember my mom, and we say this very lovingly, our family was fat phobic. And so we were taught you don't eat fat under any circumstances.
Well,
And
you
my
think about fat-free products I mean, I'm
it was
36.
it was
I
the
remember
golden
those in
age.
high school. Like
It
it
was the
was
golden age.
fat-free everything, and that was
Yes.
the thing that you wanted.
Yes. And so butter was banned, but I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh God.
Asterisk, oxymoron. Yeah.
Okay, so Diet Coke, good. I can't
Right.
believe it's not butter, good.
Yeah.
Fat-free froyo, this big, good. Right? And my mom exercised and she was fit and she was cognizant, but she would not eat fat. And cholesterol was the bad guy. And that is how I grew up. And so I also didn't eat fat. I also prided myself on just low calorie, but I didn't understand. Okay,
Less is more.
so
That was
fast
our
forward, my mom,
mentality.
yeah,
Restrict.
yeah. Um, and I never was like super overweight, but I was not healthy. And right when I had to have a hysterectomy, I'd have full hysterectomy 6 years ago now. And that was right when we were having to put my mom in like a care facility. And I was looking at, and I was crashing out. So I had a hysterectomy. My doctor said, "You don't need to worry about hormones. You're young, you're going to be just fine. Don't worry about hormones." And I was like, "Yay," because I don't want to have to figure that out. That sounds terrible. Because again, I was too busy to worry about my health. Like I just needed to do what I was doing, eat cookies and drink caffeine, and I was good. And then my mom, like the reality of what was happening with my mom was devastating. And at that time, I realized like, oh, this is going to happen to me. I was having extreme brain fog, and the first inklings of my mom's disease was like that she couldn't say words. And primary progressive aphasia affects your ability to communicate. So instead of just attacking, it doesn't attack, it's not like your memory loss, it's your communication. So your language goes. You can't say words and you can't understand words. And then it affected like her ability to eat and then it was like progression into dementia. And I just thought, oh, this is me. My mom had onset at age 60 and she was dead by 72. And I was 50. And I was like, so I have 10 years before this is going to happen to me. And I started to get really curious about brain health specifically. And I remember the first time I learned from Dr. Daniel Amen, you would know, and he said Alzheimer's is 90% preventable. And I was like, wait, I thought it was genetic. I thought that this was my destiny. And then I went down like this really deep rabbit hole of, wait a minute. So you're saying there's a chance. You're saying that I don't have to have this. And when I started learning about cholesterol and its effect on brain health, when I started learning about sleep and it's important to brain health, when I started learning about lifting weights and its importance to brain health, I was like, okay, okay, like, okay.
What do I need to do?
I'm
Let's
Okay,
go.
in.
we are I'm changing everything about myself because I will not do that. I won't do that to myself. I won't do that to my family. And I lost my mom at 72. And it is just too young. And it doesn't have to be that way. And the understanding that we had, and so boom, I was on HRT and I went from feeling literally like I was dying. Like I put on 35, almost 40 pounds of weight from the time that I had my hysterectomy, and it was a full hysterectomy. From the time I had the hysterectomy to 9 months later, I'd put on 40 pounds, which I'd never, I mean, when I was pregnant, I hadn't even put on that much weight.
Wow.
And I I got on the HRT and it was like a little bit of a resurrection. I was like, and we're back.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. And at that point, I was like, everyone needs HRT. And that was still a really bad, naughty word. Like it,
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of pushback.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe how good I felt. And I had a sex drive in the first time in like 25 years. And I was like, wow, there's something to
Fun.
this, right? Like, okay.
Your husband's like, why
And
didn't we find this 20 years ago?
I know. Well, I was like, how come I've been being pissed about sex for 20 years? What's happening? Anyway, I was so thankful because it changed my outlook on wanting to take care of myself. So I still hadn't discovered peptides at this point. At this point, I met a trainer who, Chelsea,
Chelsea, yep.
and she started training me, and never in my life to that point had I lifted weights. And I believed the only way to exercise was to go out and literally kill yourself at a high intensity class. I'm from Utah, and so high fit
Uh-huh.
was like the gold standard of killing yourself off,
Hmm.
like Orange Theory, go and absolutely blast yourself and then be exhausted further. And incidentally, like, I mean, I have a brother who's an ultra marathoner. My dad was a marathoner. Like, it's not movement unless it's so extreme that it's as close as you can come to dying. That's exercise, right? And so I really thought, and I tried to do that. Um, so so lifting weights was interesting because I was very shy about it. And when Chelsea kind of got a hold of me and started teaching me what I could do, like it was so exciting. And it took a full year of me exercise lifting with her to where I actually noticed, like in the mirror. I started putting side by side photos together, and I tell people all the time, you guys
Take
take
the
the before
pictures.
photo.
Yep.
Those before photos are life-giving.
They are hard to take and it's hard to face them. And I tell people, take them, put them away. You never have to look at them again, but you're going to
But
wish it.
when
And
you pull them out,
yep.
you do that comparison, you're like, damn, it's like super, super exciting. Do the measurements, do the before pictures. That is the best thing that I ever did. So we're going
Heidi, can
along.
I push pause really fast?
Yeah.
Because I want to highlight a couple of things here. You said that you grew up with that notion of fats are bad, as many did in that generation. And then the whole exercising thing, you have to unlearn that stuff.
Only I didn't yet because I was still superhuman.
Okay.
So I was lifting weights and not fueling,
So you were
which is why
going all
it took
day without eating.
which is why it took me one whole year to even notice the difference. And finally, then Chelsea gets through to me. Now I'm older than Chelsea, and even though she can kick my ass, I'm a little bit like, I think she was a little afraid to like say, no, really, you need to eat. And so it took me a full year to decide to actually eat. And then you're right. The unlearning um was difficult for me. Even putting butter
I
on my
wanted
bread.
to bring that up because it's something that whether it's our relationship with money, our relationship with food, our relationship with marketing and sales, like because that's what we're told, our family relationships, like these are all things that go into our journeys. And if we don't see it as unlearning, it's going to be a limiting belief and it's going to be a pause
Yeah.
on the journey.
And so you really like the whole entire time when you start, you have to really think about those stories you tell yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and it took me a long time. So now I'm talking about, I had my hysterectomy in 2020. And then 2021, we were going to have a wedding. And in 2022, we had another wedding. And so it was really only motivating. Like I was really just wanting to lose the weight. And
Right. You want to look good in the pictures.
it was hard for me to think I just need, I mean, I was really focused on the lifting weight. And then by the time the second wedding came around and I had this muscle on me that was burning the fat, that I was feeling better, that I was looking at the photos. And then I was like, wait, so you're saying that at age 52 at this point, 50, 52-ish, I was 48 when I got the hysterectomy. I was like, I mean, I was putting on a bikini and I was like, well, I have abs. I could see them. And I was like, I was shocked. I didn't even anticipate that I could that I could get there. I did not know that a 50-year-old woman could change her entire body. I thought it was too late, right? And so then when I started and we just started with breakfast because I was a non-eater and a candy-aholic.
Right.
And you
So
could
that
see my
breakfast had
face
to have been a
on
very
candy for a
hard,
while.
that had to be really hard. Breakfast, if you're a non-eater, breakfast is an incredibly difficult, that's the hardest one to overcome
And
because
so I'll tell you, I can't do recipes because that's thinking and effort and planning. I can't do plans. Don't give me a menu. So what I learned and what Chelsea helped me figure out is that I just needed to prepare protein. And so if I just had protein accessible, then all I was doing is I guess like the way I dress. Like I have these 7 t-shirts and these 7 bottoms. I keep it. And so every one of my bottoms can go with every one of my tops. And that is how I eat. Here's my protein. I have some vegetables. And this is just how I do it. It's not a menu. It's not a recipe. It's just what I feel like. And when I started eating actual protein, and I was like, well, somebody said, if you eat protein breakfast, then you can manage your mood. And I was like, wait, we could improve our mood? Because I was a pissed Indian for a long time. And I still sort of am a lot. And I think that that's the gift of menopause.
You're a mom
That
on
you
a
just
mission.
put up with a lot less. But I was angry. Um, and at this point, I still hadn't learned how to regulate my nervous system. So that was a big part that didn't come until I had done all the things and still wondered, why? So why am I not floating on cloud 9? This little nervous system situation. But so I figure out eating. I'm actually not drinking 12 Diet Cokes a day. I still drink one and I know it's bad for my brain and I'm working on it.
That's
Um,
a big deal in Utah
it's
because let me explain something here. We have Starbucks, but there's not really a line at Starbucks. The lines are at Swig, and that is where we get the pop, the soda pop. And it's this cultural phenomenon that when I came back from Portland after school, I was like, what in the heck are these things? They're
Do
everywhere.
you live here, Kylie? Do you live in Utah?
Yeah, I'm in Ogden.
Dang. It's true. It's true. And
so weird
so
for me because we don't have that in New York. It's such a like I hear you say that to me all the time, and I've seen it on my dirty little secret reality shows that I watch.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I can't believe that that's a thing. Wow.
It is. And anyway,
Thing.
it tastes delicious. So sorry. It's a struggle.
And there's by the way, there's this whole push now for soda to be coming back online and everybody's talking about their crispy Cokes. It's
Yeah.
very popular these last few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's delicious. So it's a problem. So so I worked on sleep, I worked on hydration, I worked on protein. These were really big ones. And then I had this season of injuries. And so this is where we start getting into the peptide game. Um, so I'll t so it's been 3 years, 3 years this month, and I was in the best shape of my life. Like literally, I looked good, I felt good, I was sassy because of it. It was great. And I'm sorry, yeah, this is 2 years ago.
Okay.
No, it's 3 years ago. Okay, sorry. Sorry, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I fell trying to start a motorcycle and completely tore my hamstring. Like gone. From the insertion point in my bum, completely tore, coiled up down by my knee, like
Oh my
Oh,
God.
gnarly. And I was so mad. So enter in the maddest I've ever been in my life because I had done all this work and immediately I was like, I'm going to lose it.
gone.
I'm going to lose everything. And I knew that it was going to be 4 months before I could like hike again. Hiking is my favorite.
Mhm.
If you live in Utah, you hike.
Yeah. And
If you're
it's
not, you're wasting your time here.
amazing, right? And so I didn't know if I was ever going to get back. And so I had to have surgery, which was just devastating. And I'm on crutches for the entire summer, which was just devastating. And then at that 4 months point, I get cleared to start like hiking again. And I go up to wake up my daughter because she's an early morning drill teamer. That's also a Utah thing. Um, and I fall down the stairs and tear my rotator cuff.
No.
So anger, like double whammy, like, wow, am I mad? And now here's the thing, my whole, like, it was already really hard for me to do my work and not be mobile. Now I'm down an arm. And so work is really a struggle. Plus I'm the team mom for the drill team. And so I've got all this stuff going on. I'm trying so hard not to get fat. Because this is my fear. These are the stories I tell myself. If I can't do, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to all my fat clothes, and I've never felt so good. So I doubled down on nutrition and got all my surgeries, rotator cuff surgery, which incidentally, not great. Get done, and things are feeling good. This is 2 years ago. And my daughter, who is getting ready to graduate, this is her senior year, this is all the glory. 2 nights before graduation, she's in a massive golf cart accident. And there's 6 kids on the golf cart. They're out racing around. It's 9 o'clock at night, up in the hills. So it's not on a golf course. The kids around here drive on golf carts. And there's 6 kids on it, 18-year-old kids on it. And it tips, rolls, and Capri gets stuck on it and it rips her face off. Just her nose, her lip. And if I could, the pictures,
I feel like I
she's just
heard
got
of this
teeth
in the
grater
news.
all the way down to her skull. I mean, it was devastating. One other boy was injured, and it was his foot and his ankle that was hurt. But the other 4 kids were able to evacuate without a problem. 2 nights before graduation. And now I've got this 18-year-old who has destroyed her face.
Thanks.
Um, so I'm angry. I'm angry. So we go about trying to help her. She needs several surgeries. And I'm trying to think the timeline. So she's going along with these surgeries, and we come around now to the next spring. This is 1 year ago. And my son, who was a junior at the time, this is my youngest, first game of the rugby season. He's a rugby player and a hockey player. First game of the rugby season, blows out his ACL.
What juju
Now
do you
I've
got
got
going on in the house?
I got 2 highly depressed, high achieving kids
Teenagers.
that have lost the things that they have a purpose for. And if you do or don't know this, you may or may not know this, but 11 years ago this year, I lost a son to suicide, my 16-year-old, which was my second oldest son, to suicide. And so my nervous system, my PTSD was raging. And I was like, what are we going to do to heal
Everyone.
everyone? And actually, like, we're coming back around, but my hamstring still, like, I'm in pain. I'm just not the same. And I start learning about peptides. And I start learning about these healing properties of soft tissue, of bone health, of gut health. Mind you, my daughter had an extreme concussion and traumatic brain injury from from this, and we'd been dealing with that. She was still dealing with dizziness. She was still dealing with just health, just recovery.
Sure.
And I had a kid that was a senior year, and I didn't want him to miss out his senior year of sports. So I said, you know what, whatever it takes, let's try these peptides. There's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And so 1 month, so it was about 1 month from the time my son got injured to when he could get the surgery. We had him on those peptides every day, Wolverine stack. I don't know if we can even call it that, but right, it's the
Yeah.
My favorite. Yep.
The BPC and
ipamorelin, the TB 500, the BPC 157, and the copper peptides, the GK, BHK.
GHKCU. Yep.
And I had my son on it. I put Capri on it, and I got on it.
Same stack.
Say that?
Same stack.
Same stack.
Okay.
We all took it. Nighttime, ipamorelin, morning, everything else. Diligent. And Connor, now granted, he's an 18-year-old boy. It was amazing how quickly he was back up and moving. And he had a really progressive surgeon, I will also say. And that was also my shoulder surgeon, who was very progressive, who was like, get out, get moving. He never even had Connor in a brace. Like, he was like, this is how we do. You take it easy, but you do.
Right.
And he knew we were on the peptides. And when I tell you, so Connor had that ACL surgery in April. Actually, he was injured in April. He had surgery in May. And on October 1st, he was cleared to be on the ice playing hockey.
Season.
And he played great. And he just finished his rugby season, senior year rugby season as an MVP, as the MVP.
Oh, what a
Did
story.
6 months back on the hockey skates. And I'm sorry, but I've got a neighbor who's 2 doors down. It's a girl. She's the same age, same injury, same surgery 1 day before Connor, and did not have the same
Results.
healing story. Now, there's a lot of things that cause
Other
healing.
things that can influence that, sure. But
And I'm going to tell you that as a mother, I did not wake up my son Connor the entire summer. That entire summer, he slept till probably noon, and I didn't care.
yeah.
Because what I knew about healing was that it
Rest.
happens when you sleep, and I just let that kid sleep. And so I think that that's a big part of it. He's learned about eating protein, and that kid will come in and he will take the prepped protein and just serve it up on a burrito or on a bed of rice, whatever. Like, he understood the power of protein. And the same thing happened for my daughter. We had changed the way we were eating. We had changed into weightlifting people. And so both of my kids, these are the only 2 kids left at home, and they were going to the gym with us, and they were eating like us, and they were actually sleeping, even though they're in this stage of life. Connor sleeping in the morning.
Yeah.
And then so when Capri went away to school, she just finished her 6th surgery on her face. But when she went away to school last year, she meal prepped, she lifted weights, she got outside and walked, and like, just, it's hard because you can't know and you can't see. But the peptides are magical. And you should see me, like, on my leg squat, I can get all the way down. I don't even feel it. I don't
You're a
even
High
feel it.
Rocks girl. You have to get all the way down.
And frankly, Capri and I are signed up for High Rocks in September.
Together? How fun.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
do it. We're
great.
gonna do it. Women's double. But I'm scared. But this is why I'm so passionate about women's health, is because it's not just for the mom. It affects her entire family, and it changes the outcome and the outlook and the prognosis and the longevity of her entire family because she's the one that's prepping the meals. She's the one that's pacemaking that whole family, whether she knows it or not, or whether she wants to step up to it or not. And I think if you can be a mom that can see yourself as I'm an active, I'm healthy, and yeah, I'm gonna still make cookies on Sundays, right? Like
Sure.
he's still
You're not a purist.
no, and I mean, I could never. But I honestly like the peptides aren't going to work unless you're working the peptides.
They are a
Yes.
tool.
And so I think that, you talk about the GLP-1 and I have done some microdosing of the GLP-1 and I'm astounded at what it does to my body.
Hmm.
And I'm not very consistent about it. And so I'll be consistent for like a month and I'll be like, dang, girl, and then I'll get distracted or I'll run out or something like that. And then I'm like, why am I feeling so bloated? Why am I feeling so this and that, not changing really my diet? It just makes you function better. My skin, I cannot get over what that does for your skin. And it just, I'm sorry, but this is the moneymaker for me, right? Like it makes you feel more confident. It makes you feel better about yourself. And and I guess that there's a lot of people that only worry about what it looks like on the outside. I'm far more worried about what it's saying on the inside. I'm far more worried about what my numbers are. I'm far more worried about what I feel like. I'm far more worried about how I'm actually functioning, how my brain is working. One of the craziest things that happened recently was that I had some friends challenge me to learn how to play pickleball. And when I first like my brain was, I'm like, when is my brain going to catch up? And it took me some time. And Dr. Raymond talks about this all the time, like play paddle sports, it's the best thing you can do for your brain. And now I'm out there with my kids because I decided that I was going to play pickleball and then everybody comes along, And so I think that, I also have a podcast and talk to a lot of practitioners where we're talking about functional medicine usually and root cause stuff. And I've learned so much because I'm definitely a Western science kind of a girl. Like, and I'm definitely like, if a doctor tells you to, yes, you do. That kind of a girl. Like I'm an obedience girl. I live in Utah. I have scrupulosity, all the things, right? But we sit and we talk about like all these terrible processed foods and all these terrible habits that we have as Americans and this terrible American diet. And I'm like the magic of these peptides and the technology that we have and the information that we have and taking the black box off of estrogen and like this is an exciting time to be a 50-year-old woman. Yes,
It sure is.
you know?
You've had this lived experience with your mom where you saw, obviously, yes, she unfortunately left you at 72, which is my opinion. She's too young. But those years
Really,
prior,
she left her at 60.
but
Yeah.
that's just going to
Might have
say, but really
physically
those
been
years
there, but
prior,
mentally,
right? Really hard. And so when you were talking about you as a mom kind of leading the way for everybody, it's so true because everybody is so quick. Well, it runs in my family. They had this, so I'm going to have this. It's like this
I believe
accepted
that.
thing
I
that
believe
you've
that 100%.
decided. But the reality, what we have handed down aside from genetics is habits and thoughts. And that is really, in my opinion, a large reason why people are
And
the size they
recipe.
are. Yeah. And so when you change that, not only in your food prep, but in showing your family simple things like sleep and the importance of sleep and rest, you can still be that go-getter and build big business and do all the things that you have to do, but also making sure that you're not taking yourself off the list. In order to do those things, you still have to work out, move weights, eat well, sleep. And in those other hours, you can rule the world. But you're not going to rule the world for very long and very well if you're not prioritizing your time and then teaching that to your kids. So that changes their whole life.
I just barely, I have a brand new 6-week-old grandbaby.
Oh, congratulations.
Our very first grandbaby. And we've got one more coming in about a month. And I just realized that I not only wanted to be emotionally available and fun and engaging grandparent that was going and supporting, but physically I wanted to be able to keep up. And I wanted the activities that we did to be hiking and playing and adventuring and not coming to my house. And I mean, they can stamp at my house if they want. They can play crap up too. But I think that my belief system is that the moms are always the center of the universe of their families. And the mom sets the tone, the mom sets the pace. And it's not only a responsibility, but it's an opportunity, and we're going to have these grandkids that their parents are working their brains out. And, it's a different world that we live in. Moms and dads are going to be eating, and the convenience and quick food is going to be so important. And when a grandma can show up and be a support and encourager and do that by example, not only by example, but also just like, and this is how we have fun, and this is what we do, this is who we are, this is the kind of family that we are, then it's just going to empower those generations. And so when I saw her mom start to lose confidence, and that like technology is a big part of confidence, I think with older people, like you can't keep up with the kids and um I just started noticing women starting to take themselves out of the game and let everybody else run the show, and maybe the grandma shows up. My grandmas are the show. Healthy grandmas are the show. And that's what I want to be for my family. And when I realized that I had the power to decide that I didn't have to worry and wait and expect Alzheimer's to come or a broken hip, or I mean, I've had the injuries, and I think I'm not afraid of, I mean, I don't want any more injuries. But I don't live in fear of that. And so now, I guess for 1 year, I guess now we're a little over the year, and now in addition to a Wolverine stack, I'll take an NAD and a MOTS-C.
Mhm.
And I'll do a little microdosing with some GLP-1, and I feel so great. And it's a lot. I think there's a lot to tell people about, and I certainly don't do it on my page. It's kind of like I'm waiting for it to see where it comes. I think when I talk to people about it, they're like, "Well, where do you get it?"
Yeah. I want to I summarize one thing. You had to walk through all of those many stages to get to where you are to see the value in the peptide, because the peptides are a tool that don't, while they will be helpful, they may only be helpful short term if you don't have all those things that you had in place. I think you had to walk through that first and understand the nutrition and the sleep and all of those things. And then when you layer it on the peptides, that just is a game changer in general. And there's two thoughts behind that. One, those tools can be used to help you make the changes that maybe you weren't able to do. Maybe there's too much inflammation in your body. Maybe you have too much food noise, addictive patterns, thoughts that are scattered that you can't clear up. And so those tools will help you to make those changes that you need to move your body, to nourish your body, to rest your body. The other side of that is somebody like yourself or me, that you're walking the talk already, and now you want to take it to another level with peptides. Now you've got all these great things in place, but we can do better. we can heal quicker. We can do all these other things and take it up a notch in our longevity journey, our sexual wellness journey, whatever it is that you're seeking out with peptides. So they are magical. They are incredibly powerful. Your story is remarkable on every level, from learning from mom and grandma to all the way down to, the grandbabies that are coming, but what you've done for your youngest children by showing them this healing journey that 5 years ago you wouldn't have been able to show them.
And I'm telling you, like, I don't need to live to be 140, whatever that Brian guy wants to do. I can't.
Well,
Let me see, one
based
more.
on the way the world is going, I don't know that I want to be around where
I'm
I'm
like,
still that
dude,
long.
140, what are you thinking? But but here's what I will say. I want to be able to like wring every drop of life out for as long as I possibly can. And I'm telling you, I'm vain as heck. So yeah. So I want to look good while that happens. The biggest drawback, I'm going to tell you, the biggest drawback of the peptides is that I got to get my hair cut like 2 weeks quicker every time. And I have this short hair, and
Grows
so
fast.
it's pretty tricky. But you should see Capri's hair. And I mean, it is, my daughter's hair is fantastic. Her skin, I mean, her face, her healing is absolutely astounding. She does have a great doctor, but I think the greatest thing of recognizing this world that we live in is taking that opportunity to optimize. And you do have to make a choice, because it is really easy to drive through, to grab a drive through, and the crap is so rampant. And frankly, I've got a lot of people, and I'm just starting to kind of coach women in this health space, in with lifestyle habits, because I think that was something that I just didn't ever prioritize. But what we have available to us, and even like just like the availability of red light and the availability of, so, I mean, here in Utah now there's a contrast therapy place on every corner, and I love it so much. So women will say to me, but it's so expensive. Like that bag of protein powder is $60, or that costs this much. And I'm like, you want me to tell you what's expensive? Is feeling like crap. You want me to tell you what's expensive? Is memory care providing. You want me to tell you what's expensive? Is not being able to get up out of your chair. You know,
Agreed.
it's just 100% worth it. And and it's never too late. Like that's the other thing that is crazy, is that any effort that you start making, like we used to think our brains didn't respond, and now we know that we have so many ways that we can empower our brain. And with peptides, when you get that, like that stack, whatever, the Wolverine stack, and you're optimizing your skin and your hair and, your glow, you're also optimizing your gut. And here we are thinking like, oh, it's working on my skin, but really it's not working on
What's
your
it
gut.
doing on the inside? Right.
Really what's happening. Yeah. And so like, I just think it's the most exciting thing ever. So thank you for your podcast, and thank you for talking about it. And I did all the talking, so sorry about that.
Oh, it's a great story.
Heidi,
I'm
we
so
loved
glad you
it.
did.
I resonated with this a lot because I'm speaking in an in-person networking event in Salt Lake County in a couple weeks, and the topic is you're built to win, but you're running on empty. You're gonna go do the things anyways because that's what us women do. We're gonna go hit the
Give
goals.
it.
We're gonna go make the marks. We're gonna go do the things. Let's feel good while we do it. And then from another perspective of, I now have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an almost 3-year-old. So for the first time in my life, I'm out of the baby phase and I love it. And I'm like, okay, now I get to spend a little bit more time on me because Chloe's gonna be in preschool in the fall. Like, it's 4 hours a week of like freedom.
What can I do with that? Yeah, yeah.
So it's a different lifestyle or different stage of life, but it's the same concepts. I want my brain to be rocking and rolling and strong when I'm 85, when I'm 45, and when I'm 40, 35. I'm 36 now. But I do that not just for me, but as a mom, we set the standard for our house. We set the standard as a leader for those of us who are watching us without even realizing that they're watching. And in this day and age, with the mental side of things, like I want to make sure the mental side is
Well,
pristine.
and we could have a whole nother conversation about that mental health piece, especially for you as you've got these kids that are going to go be teenagers, whether you like it or not, right? And when you go to the high school and you watch what the kids are eating and you watch what they're consuming on their phones, the fast consumption, and you think about how much they're sleeping and how they're interacting. Um, I mentioned to you that I lost a son to suicide, and there was a lot of factors, and that is the thing about mental health is that there's a lot of factors. And if I would have known all the things that I know now, I think when he first passed away, I was really passionate about suicide awareness and talking to kids and helping parents talk to their kids and improve those relationships, which are so important. And fast forward to now, when I start learning that these key neurotransmitters that are missing are being formed in our gut. And people have said to me, well, your gut's your second brain. Like I've heard it a million times, but I had no idea what it meant. But when you can't make serotonin because you're eating Cheetos and energy drinks, then you don't have a lot of hope, especially when you're not sleeping and especially when you're on social media 24 hours a day. It's it's tough, right? And so for you, your kids are going to see like, oh my gosh, we go outside and we do this together and we incorporate these healthy habits and we prioritize our sleep and we do it together, you know, and you're not going to be able to protect them from every heartbreak. You're not, only the
My
weird kids
my
can't
goal
be
is to
on
have
social
a
media.
safe
So,
home. They know that when they come home, home is safety.
and having that conversation, it has to be led with some healthy lifestyle habits that feel normal and that feel safe and that feel fun to them too. Like not like no,
Not
this
in
is our
punishment.
this is our
I can't
hard
have it.
bedtime and this is how you're different and you don't get to do what the other kids do, like it's a tricky balance. But the mental clarity, the nervous system stuff has to happen first with these healthy lifestyle habits. And it's tricky at every stage. At every stage it's tricky, but it's so worth it,
But it's
you know.
worth it. And it's priceless.
Yeah.
What you're doing now is priceless. For not just the now, but for the long term.
Yeah.
Guys, we could keep going on and on and on. Heidi, where can they find more about you?
Well, if you want to scrapbook, I'm still scrapbooking. And my Instagram is just Heidi Swapp. And I get, I don't, I can't, I'm not allowed to just talk about fitness stuff on there because people get mad and they want me to talk about creative stuff. And so I also have a page that's called Join Shift Collective. And I have a dream of having a women's health platform that helps to support women who are kind of in that 45, 55, 65. And I don't like to say reclaim their life because they're really habits that we probably never had. So I like to say that like it's your second act. I like to say that it's your new normal. You're starting fresh. And I was even talking to some women at church. They're in their like 30s, 30, kind of eking up on 40s. And they're like, oh, I wish I would have gone to hair school or I wish I would have done this and that. And I'm like, girls, don't you worry because you've got your 50s coming. And this is your time. You can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. I used to think it was old, and it's not. It's like, I mean, and they say it all the time. It's kind of like being a teenager for old people. This this is your time. And it's exciting. I've never felt better. I've never looked better. I've never had a more enthusiastic outlook on what life can look like. And I just think it's a great time to be alive, honestly.
Agreed.
So come and find me. Hit me up.
What's your
Get your
podcast?
peptides and then come scrapbook. It's pretty fun.
Jess, where can they find you?
So you can find me also on Instagram where I am jessb.talkshealth. I am talking all things peptides as much as we can get away with in the new meta. We're gonna crack down on everybody way. But all kinds of other functional wellness stuff. So you can find me there. You can also catch me at my website, which is b2bwithjess.com. And there you can find peptides and find some of my programs and all things wellness and peptide related.
I love that.
If this story resonated with you, if anything you've heard on this podcast resonated with you, please leave a review and share this. There are more 50-year-olds out there who need to hear this message than you think. So simply click share and let somebody find it and get answers to what they have been praying for. I'm Dr. Kylie Burton, and you can find me at my website, drkylieburton.com. This is Pep Talk, Peptides Unpacked. See you next time.